Hi, I'm Rachel with Karefree Krafting. How's everyone's summer going? It's hot. It's very hot. In a lot of places it's hotter than usual. Um, this summer, got into tie-dye, made myself a t-shirt, made one for Lissa, made one for a couple other friends. And then I started thinking about a whole cloth quilt. A whole cloth quilt is basically an enormous piece of fabric, front and back. You don't do any kind of patchwork or embroidery or anything because either you want to showcase the fabric or you want to showcase the quilting. So you just take the two pieces of fabric and you sandwich in your batting, you baste it. I'm going to skip the basting part because no one wants to hear that much swearing. I love to quilt, I hate to baste. So what I did is I bought this fabric from fabric.com. It's a 90-inch wide 100% cotton muslin. It has a permanent press finish on it, which can make dyeing a bit difficult. And so, according to Google, the way to get rid of a permanent press finish is a hot wash and bleach water. It worked. So I dyed the two pieces of fabric. I'm going to splice them in here. I basted with safety pins this time. And I have a variegated purple thread that I'm going to use for the quilting. I used a very thin low loft cotton batting because this kind of felt like a summer blanket to me, so you don't want it very warm. According to the package, we can quilt this up to 8 inches apart. So I'm going to do a just kind of a loose meander. And then I have these fabric strips. They're 2 inches wide because I didn't have very much of this fabric, but it's a light blue floral with glitter, and I thought it would be perfect for the colors I used in this. I'm going to bind with those, and I did 2 inches because I didn't have much of that fabric left, but it was kind of my favorite to go with this. So let's get started. I'll film over my shoulder a little bit and show you how to quilt in case anyone's wondering. I'm going to I'll probably drop the audio during parts of this because this machine is very loud and I don't want to blow anyone's speakers. So when the audio cuts in and out, it's not a problem with your equipment. So welcome to the view over my shoulder. To set the machine up, we've dropped the feed dogs, we've got the darning foot on. The stitch length doesn't matter because without the feed dogs, the stitch length is going to be controlled by how fast I move my hands. Now, how big of a quilt you can do on a home machine depends mostly on how much of a wrestling match you're up for today. I've got the Brother Novell. They retired this one. They renamed this one. It's now the PQ 1500S. The only thing different is the nameplate. I just bought it when they were calling it Novell. I have quilted. This quilt's going to be roughly 90 inches by 90 inches, so a large king size quilt, or I'm sorry, a large queen size quilt or a small king. That's US or Australia. Over in Europe, I think it'd be more like a super king. The biggest quilt I've done on this machine was a 120 inch by 120 inch, and it was a bit of a wrestling match. I had sore shoulders, but it can be done. Sorry about the shadow. I turned the light off on the machine because the light was causing a glare, but I can't get away from the shadow. So I like to start in the middle. This is going to be a wrestling match, and so I'll start in the middle and I'll move up or to the side. And first thing we have to do is pull our thread through to the same side. Then you drop your presser foot. And I like to kind of move it back and forth in a very small area for, I don't know, 10-15 stitches, just to lock everything in place so it doesn't come undone later, and then I can just clip the threads. I don't have to worry about tying anything. Like that. Also, I forgot to mention, you want a big needle for this. I've got an 18 gauge needle in this. I'm sorry I keep hitting the camera. The quilt's ready to get this fight started. Some people use gloves, but I usually don't. I have a set, and they're copper fit. They've got that grip. I actually use this in the winter when my drafty old house is cold and my hands are cold. But what usually ends up happening is I sew myself to the quilt, which can be amusing. Alright, so there's our double-sided whole cloth quilt. We have a sunrise side and a sunset side, and this is way too big for me to hold up. I'm just realizing that, so I'll be back. And here's our quilt spread out on a king-size bed. This is the dark side, nighttime, winter. You could do dawn and dusk. This would be dusk. Let me flip it over and I'll show you the other side. Here's our swirl side. If we're doing dawn and dusk, this is dawn. If we're doing day and night, this is day. If you're doing summer winter, then this is summer. Thanks for watching. If you make one of these, put it in our Facebook group. We'd love to see it. The Facebook group is called Craftaholics Anonymous, Craftaholics spelled with a K. Please like, share, and subscribe, and happy crafting. Bye.